Shalom, Israel, Shalom. It's your brother Isaiah back with another video. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Mashiach, Yahushai. All praises due. Double honors to King David. And today, I just want to come out of the book of Jasher. And I want to read a passage. I'm going to start in chapter 31, but I'm going to start at probably like verse 74 through 77. And so I'm going to start on chapter 31, and then we're going to move on to verse 32. And basically what we're going to go into is kind of like a power struggle. That's how I look at this passage between Jacob and Esau. We know Esau is our wicked twin brother. We know that the reason the way the world is because of him. All this wickedness, all this shit, well, the Most High is his hand over everything, but he's using Esau to spread this wickedness. Esau is the vessel of wrath in a sense. So he got the short end of the stick on the promise of the inheritance. And we are going to go into that. Just a few precepts on that, but yeah, we're just going to read about power struggle between Jacob and Esau, and y'all gonna see how Esau really is, man. He's what he is, man. He's wicked. You're gonna see how he's conniving and sly in the passage we go into, and how we just remain righteous and that we always rely on the Most High to deliver us, man. Y'all gonna see though. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this all in one shot in one video. If I don't, there will be part 2 will be uploaded tomorrow, but hopefully, Lord willing, we can get this under. I'm looking to get this under 35 minutes. If I can't get this under 35 minutes, we're gonna cut it, and then we're gonna do a part 2 tomorrow morning. I'll have that out for y'all. Let's go to the book of Jasher, chapter 31, starting at verse 74. And these messengers said unto Jacob, Rebekah thy mother has sent to thee, saying, I have heard, my son, that thy brother Esau has gone forth against thee on the road with men from the children of Seir the Horite. And therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, and see with thy counsel what thou wilt do. And when he cometh up to thee, supplicate him, and do not speak rashly to him, and give him a present from what thou possessest, and from what the power has favored thee with. And when he asketh thee concerning thy affairs, conceal nothing from him. Perhaps he may turn from his anger against thee, and thou wilt thereby save thy soul, thou and all belonging to thee, for it is thy duty to honor him, for he is thy elder brother. So basically, Jacob's mom, Rebekah, was basically saying, if you give Esau a present, maybe y'all can kind of hash this, what this, ill will y'all have towards each other. Because we know Jacob was favored over Esau, even though Esau, he, damn, I forgot what it's called, but Brother Matthias has brought it out before. It's like the eldest brother, they usually get the blessing, right? He didn't get the blessing. He didn't get the blessing. Nah. Most High didn't want it like that. He wanted to give Jacob the blessing. Everybody else after Jacob, following that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bloodline, will receive that blessing. Esau, nah. Of course he would get, a blessing, but it's not to the fullest extent of what we get. See, we got an everlasting kingdom. Esau's kingdom's going down. It's finna get destroyed. He's finna be eradicated. In due season. Of course, he's not going to be eradicated once all this tribulation and stuff goes down. Nah, he's going to be eradicated once we get back to our own land, and of course, by the time Yahushua's back and that stuff. But yeah, he's scheduled for complete destruction, man, and that's why He hates us so much. Verse 77, and when Jacob heard the words of his mother, when the messages had spoken to him, Jacob lifted up his voice and wept bitterly, and did as his mother then commanded him. So, Jacob, can you blame him, man? It's like Esau's wicked as hell. Like, why would I want to give him a present, But we're going to see how this story plays out. I am going to make sure I keep checking my precept. Okay. Let's go back to the book of Jasher, chapter 32, starting at verse 1. And at that time Jacob sent messengers to his brother Esau toward the land of Seir, and he spoke to him words of supplication. So anytime the scriptures mention anything about the land Seir or Mount Seir, it's talking about Esau. And if you read Ezekiel 35, you're going to see how the Most High feels about Mount Seir. And I might bring that out in a video one day, but just read the passage Ezekiel 35, and you're going to see, man, Most High is going to make good on his promise, man. He is not fucking around when it comes to the destruction of Esau, man. And that passage proves it. But as verse 2, and he commanded them, saying, thus shall ye say to my Lord, to Esau, thus saith thy servant Jacob, let not my Lord imagine that my father's blessing with which he did bless me has proved beneficial to me. For I have been these 20 years with Laban, and he deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, and it has all been already told unto my Lord. So Jacob's like, man, just because I got this blessing doesn't mean shit's been sweet for me, Shit ain't been easy for me, brother. I don't know any other way to say that, but yeah, man. And I wanted to get the etymology for Lord. I think we all know what it means. It's mentioned many times throughout the scriptures. Of course, we call the Most High the Lord. Okay, this is the verb definition, then I'm going to get the noun. It says, etymology, it says to exercise lordship, rule as a lord. That's the verb. And then the noun, it says master of a household, ruler, feudal lord, superior, or husband. So, yeah. And this, when it says Lord here in the book of Jasher, it's all in lowercase. But when it's got that capital L, it's talking about Yahweh the Father in this passage. And then going down to verse 4, and I served him in his house very laboriously, and the power afterwards saw my affliction, my labor, and the work of my hands, and he caused me to find grace and favor in thy sight, in his sight, Salah. And afterward, through the power's great mercy and kindness, acquired oxen and asses and cattle and men servants and maid servants. And now I am coming to my land and home to my father and mother, who are in the land of Canaan. And I have sent to let my Lord know all this in order to find favor in the sight of my Lord, so that he may not imagine that I have of myself obtained wealth, or that the blessing with which my father blessed me has benefited me. It's like I was saying, he says, I haven't, just because I've gotten this blessing doesn't mean everything's been going well for me, And if you look at the generations past, look how, long we've been in captivity, man. We've been in captivity for quite some time, and guess who's been over us? Esau. He's been ruling, but it's his time to rule now. We were going to get our reward later on down the road. That was our blessing. Esau, he's carnal, so he get his shit right away. He get the microwave. He would get basically the microwave of ruling the planet, but we would get the oven of it, because in a microwave something cooks fast. In an oven it takes longer. It takes, longer for something to cook up, and that's us. So he'd get the fast joint, but we would get the everlasting one, and it would take longer for the process to play out throughout the generations, but ultimately hell, we're in that time now, man. So all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We're finally here. Um, Verse 7. And those messengers went to Esau and found him on the borders of the land of Edom going toward Jacob. And 400 men of the children of Seir, the Horite, were standing with drawn swords. What was Esau's blessing? The sword. Makes sense. Verse 8. And the messengers of Jacob told Esau all the words that Jacob had spoken to them concerning Esau. And Esau answered them with pride and contempt and said unto them, Surely I've heard, and surely it has been told unto me what Jacob has done to Laban, who has exalted him in his house and gave him his daughter for wives, and begat sons and daughters, and abundantly increased in wealth and riches in Laban's house through his means. And when he saw that his wealth was abundant and his riches great, he fled with all belonging to him from Laban's house. And he led Laban's daughters away from the face of their father as captives taken by the sword without telling him of it. And not only to Laban has Jacob done thus, but also unto me has he done so, and has twice supplanted me, and shall I be silent? Now therefore I have this day come with my camps to meet him, and I will do unto him according to the desire of my heart. Now we're going to go to the precept I was going to bring out. What's the desire of Esau's heart? Let's go to Genesis chapter 27, and we're going to start at verse 30. We're going to start at 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Verse 41, And Esau hated Jacob because of this blessing, wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. So that's the desire of Esau's heart, is to slay Jacob and the descendants of Jacob. You know, because Jacob himself, of course, the spirit of Jacob is in the body. We know that. I'm not talking about like Jacob as he was back then. The descendants of Jacob are here through the royal bloodline. And then you got the descendants of Esau. They're here through Esau's bloodline or whatnot. Wicked ass bloodline. Pretty much. But yeah, man, that's the desire of his heart, to slay us, man. That's why he spread so much wickedness, and only for a short amount of time did his all this witchcraft and shit he put out here through the media, through these wicked devices, did it work. But eventually, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, he woke us up, quickened our spirits, because we were the ones that repented, you know. Of course, Jacob, he's back, so, you know, he's right there with us, man. You know, all praises. Well, let's continue reading. Verse 13, And the messengers returning came to Jacob and said unto him, We came to thy brother to Esau, and we told him all thy words, and thus has he answered us. And behold, he cometh to meet thee with 400 men. Now then know, and see what thou shalt do, and pray before the power to deliver thee from him. We rely on the Most High. You know, what did the scriptures say? Our weapons of warfare are not carnal. Jacob knew this. He calls on the Most High to deliver him. We don't take shit into our own hands. We let the Most High deal with our issues. Verse 15, And when he heard the words of his brother, which he had spoken to the messengers of Jacob, Jacob was greatly afraid, and he was distressed. So, yeah, man, Esau was trying to basically ransack Jacob with 400 men. But let's continue reading, though. And Verse 16, and Jacob prayed to the Lord his power, and he said, O Lord, power of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, thou didst say unto me, when I went away from my father's house, saying, I am the Lord, power of thy father Abraham, and the power of Isaac unto thee, do I give this land and thy seed after thee, and I will make thy seed as the stars of heaven, and thou shalt spread forth to the four sides of heaven, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. It's our blessing right there. Verse 18, and thou didst establish thy words, and didst give unto me riches and children and cattle, as the utmost wishes of my heart didst thou give unto thy servant. Thou didst give unto me all that I asked from thee, so that I lack nothing. And thou didst afterwards say unto me, return to thy parents and to thy birthplace, and I will still do well with thee. And now that I have come, and thou didst deliver me from Laban, you can read the story of him in Laban. I believe it's in mainly the 31st chapter of the book of Jasher goes into that, and then this chapter goes into Jacob and Esau specifically. I shall fall in the hands of Esau, who will slay me, yea, together with the mothers of my children. Now therefore, O Lord, power, deliver me, I pray thee, also from the hands of my brother Esau, for I am greatly afraid of him. You think about it, man. Esau, carnally, he's got us beat. He's got us beat. Why? Because that was his blessing. He could slay us with his carnal weapons, man. But we rely on the Most High to deliver us through spiritual weaponry. And we're going to rely on that on this time specifically. This time, man, this is really the only time in history like something like this is ever going to happen, where we're going to get turned up. And then after that, turn up comes, that power is never going away from the 144,000. So, yeah, man, Esau carnally, bro, he's got it all. He would, with his carnal weapons, man, he would dominate us. You see why Jacob's calling on the Most High, because he's our power. We rely on him to get us out of situations. We don't rely on carnal shit. That's what 2/3 do. They side with this Japhite and Esau, trying to use carnal weapons to feel protected, when little do they know the Most High's in control of everything down to the smallest detail, man. So, they fool themselves thinking that they're safe with those carnal weapons. Verse 22, and if there is no righteousness in me, do it for the sake of Abraham and my father Isaac. For I know that through kindness and mercy I have acquired wealth. Now therefore I beseech thee to deliver me this day with thy kindness, and to answer me. And Jacob ceased praying to the Lord, and he divided the people that were with him with the flocks and cattle in 2 camps, and he gave the half to the care of Damasak, the son of Eleazar, Salak if I butchered that, Abraham's servant, for a camp with his children, and the other half he gave to the care of his brother Elianas, the son of Eleazar, to be for a camp with his children. And he commanded them, saying, keep yourselves at a distance with your camps, and do not come too near each other. And if Esau come to one camp and slay it, the other camp at a distance from it will escape him. And Jacob tarried there that night, and during the whole night he gave his servants instructions concerning the forces and his children. And the Lord heard the prayer of Jacob on that day, and the Lord then delivered Jacob from the hands of his brother Esau. And the Lord sent 3 angels of the angels of heaven, and they went before Esau and came to him. And these angels appeared unto Esau and his people as 2,000 men riding upon horses, furnished with all sorts of war instruments. And they appeared in the sight of Esau and all his men to be divided into 4 camps with 4 chiefs to them. Man, so the Most High, he just sent pretty much angels, but it was 2,000 men, and just sent them. It was like, what's good? Like, y'all want to fight Jacob? Shit, we right here. You know? Hey, the Most High does exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or think. Let me get that precept real quick. Shit. I mean, Most High could have done anything, man. He could have just, did something real small. But like 2,000 men against 400? It's raps. It's raps, man. It's raps. This is Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. He does above anything that we could ask or think, man. All praises. And one camp went on, and they found Esau coming with 400 men toward his brother Jacob. And this camp ran toward Esau and his people and terrified them. And Esau fell off the horse in alarm, and all his men separated from him in that place, for they were greatly afraid. And the whole of the camp shouted after them when they fled from Esau. And all the warlike men answered, saying, Surely we are the servants of Jacob, who is the servant of the power. And who then could stand against us? The Lord be with you, who can be against you? And Esau said unto them, O then my Lord and brother Jacob is your Lord. Did we not read that in Genesis 27? Where it says he would serve us instead of us serving him? O then my Lord and my brother Jacob is your Lord, whom I have not seen for these 20 years. And now that I have this day come to see him, do you treat me in this manner? And the angels answered him, saying, As the Lord liveth, were not Jacob, of whom thou speakest, thy brother? We had not let one remaining from thee and thy people, but only on account of Jacob we will do nothing to them. And this camp passed from Esau and his men, and it went away. And Esau and his men had gone from them about a league, when the second camp came toward him with all sorts of weapons. And they also did unto Esau and his men as the first camp had done to them. When they had left it to go on, behold, the third camp came toward him, and they all were terrified. And Esau fell off the horse, and the whole camp cried out and said, Surely we are the servants of Jacob, who is the servant of the power, and who can stand against us? And Esau again answered them, saying, O then Jacob my Lord and your Lord is my brother, and for 20 years I have not seen his countenance, and hearing this day that he was coming, I went this day to meet him, and do you treat me in this manner? So Esau, he's basically saying right there, man, like, oh, why are y'all treating me like this? I'm just trying to see my brother, like trying to be sneaky, conniving as hell. This is why he's got to be cut off, man. He's straight wicked, man. Straight wicked. He's going to come with 400 men, yet he was just trying to see us. He didn't want to see Jacob face to face, like a real. Nah, he wanted to come with 400 men because he knew he had some evil intentions behind his actions. He ain't slick, man. That's why the Most High, just gonna have to cut his ass off, man, and had to fuck him up right here too. Verse 37. And they answered him and said unto him, As the Lord liveth, were not Jacob thy brother, as thou didst say? We had not left a remnant from thee and thy men, but on account of Jacob, whom thou speakest, being thy brother, we will not meddle with thee or thy men. And the third camp also passed from them, and he still continued his road with his men toward Jacob, when the fourth camp came toward him. And they also did unto him and his men as the others had done. And when Esau beheld the evil which the 4 angels, this one, I was like, wait a minute. And when Esau beheld the evil which the 4 angels had done to him and to his men, he became greatly afraid of his brother Jacob, and he went to meet him in peace. What did the 4 angels sound like? Well, it's right here in Revelations chapter 7. So back then, there was basically like a host of angels that went against Esau. The same thing is going to happen in this time, except it's going to be on all these nations, including Esau. But Esau's at the forefront of this shit. So it's like the Most High is doing pretty much the same thing, but he's getting back at the other nations too, not just Esau. Um, Revelation 7:1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So we know once the 144 is sealed, the elect, that's it. That's when all hell is going to break loose, man. The society that Esau has built off wickedness is going to come crashing down. When I saw that, I was like, man, all praises. Like, the Most High, when he says there is nothing new under the sun, man, he means that shit, man. He really means that shit. He means everything he says. Verse 40. And Esau concealed his hatred against Jacob because he was afraid of his life on account of his brother Jacob, because he imagined that the 4 camps that he had lighted upon were Jacob's servants. And Jacob tarried that night with his servants in their camps. And he resolved with his servants to give unto Esau a present from all them he had with them, and from all his property. And Jacob rose up in the morning, he and his men, and they chose from among the cattle a present for Esau. And this is the amount of the present which Jacob chose from his flock to give unto his brother Esau. And he selected 240 head from the flocks, and he selected from the camels and asses 30 each. And of the herds he chose 50 kine, and he put them all in 10 droves. And he placed each sort by itself, and he delivered them into the hands of 10 of his servants, each drove by itself. And he commanded them and said unto them, Keep yourselves at a distance from each other, and put a space between the droves. And when Esau and those who are with him shall meet you and ask you, saying, Whose are you, and whither do you go? And to whom belongeth all this before you? You shall say unto them, We are the servants of Jacob, and we come to meet Esau in peace. And behold, Jacob cometh behind us, and that which is before us is a present sent from Jacob to his brother Esau. And if thou shalt say unto you, Why doeth he delay behind you from coming to meet his brother and to see his face? Then you shall say unto them, Surely he cometh joyfully behind us to meet his brother, for he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth to him. And after this I will see his face pre-adventure, he will accept of me. So the whole present passed on in the hands of his servants, and went before him on that day. And he lodged that night with his camps by the border of the brook Jabbok. And he rose up in the midst of the night, and he took his wives and his maidservants, and all belonging to him, and that night passed him over the Lord Jabbok. And when he passed all belonging to him over the brook, Jacob was left by himself, and a man met him. And he wrestled with him that night until the breaking of the day, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint through wrestling with them. So it was like someone just kind of came through, was just, upset or whatnot. But, all praises, Jacob, he wasn't killed or consumed by that. He had to do what he had to do to protect himself. Verse 39, and at the break of the day, the man left Jacob there, and he blessed him and went away. And Jacob passed the brook at the break of day, and he halted upon his thigh. And the sun rose upon him when he had passed the brook, and he came up to the place of his cattle and children. And they went on till midday, and whilst they were going, the present was passing on before them. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau was at a distance coming, along with many men, about 400. And Jacob was greatly afraid of his brother. And Jacob hastened and divided his children unto his wives and his handmaids, and his daughter Dinah he put in a chest, and he delivered her into the hands of servants. And he passed before his children and wives to meet his brother, and he bowed down to the ground. Yea, he bowed down 7 times until he approached his brother, and the power caused Jacob to find grace and favor in the sight of Esau and his men, for the power had heard the prayer of Jacob. So Jacob just basically had to surrender. He was like, okay, you know, you trying to like kill me, and it's like Jacob, this was a picture perfect example of how a man of the Lord really conducts himself. He didn't try to, go all out like, fuck it, I'm gonna just, all guns blazing, man. He was using wisdom. He was using the Most High's power, of protection over him, and he just got down, man. He was just basically, him getting down was him putting it in the Most High's hands at that point. Let's continue reading. And then in verse 55, and the fear of Jacob and his terror fell upon his brother Esau, for Esau was greatly afraid of Jacob, for what the angels of the power had done to Esau, and Esau's anger against Jacob was turned into kindness. Most High put a spirit of kindness on Esau. Just like that. Just because he didn't try to go crazy or anything like that. Nah, bro. He used wisdom. And wisdom is the fear of the Most High, right? So in that, he just bowed himself. He put it in the Most High's hands. And knowing, and just on that account alone, that's how we know we're using that wisdom that the Most High gave us in the correct manner, because we will put it all in his hands, man, in whatever situation it is. When we try to do something on our own, more than likely it's not going to go the way we want it to, and then we're going to have to call on the Most High anyways to deliver us out of that situation. So to wisely go about any situation that you go through, you put it in his hands and you don't think twice about it. Verse 56. And when Esau saw Jacob running toward him, he also ran toward him, and he embraced him, and he fell upon his neck, and they kissed, and they wept. And the power put fear and kindness towards Jacob in the hearts of the men that came with Esau, and they also kissed Jacob and embraced him. And also Eliphaz, the son of Esau, with his 4 brothers, sons of Esau, wept with Jacob, and they kissed him and embraced him, for the fear of Jacob had fallen upon them all. And Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women with their offspring, the children of Jacob, walking behind Jacob and bowing along the road to Esau. So I'm going to cut it right there, Ox. We are going to finish this passage. We got about, 60 through 73. We're going to go ahead and read that tomorrow. I don't want this video to be too long because I am kind of uploading it kind of late tonight, and I will have part 2 in the morning for you guys. Lord willing, you guys were edified. Just ending this video by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem, Mashiach Yahushua. All praises due, and I'll see you on the next one tomorrow. Shalom.